What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my show. Really excited to be here with you today and sharing this recipe. We are doing cultured butter at home. I've been buying butter forever at the farmer's market, and it costs a pretty penny, okay? It's like $14 for a jar this size. So we're gonna learn how to do this at home, and we're gonna learn how to do it cheap and fast, and it's gonna be amazing. You might be asking yourself, what makes this a cultured butter as opposed to like a regular butter? So cultured butter is essentially made with enzymes using buttermilk. So this is your Meryl Streep of butters, in contrast to your like Kim Kardashian, Kerrygold butters, which are just kind of like, you know, they've been to too many places, they've seen a lot of things. So you want the classy butter, so you want the cultured, sophisticated butter. So this is that butter. It's a really easy recipe. You need 2 ingredients, which is 1 pint of heavy cream, and it's gotta be heavy whipping cream. You can't use half and half, can't use milk, God no. So you gotta use heavy whipping cream, and you need some buttermilk. You need 2 tablespoons of buttermilk, and what you're gonna do is combine those 2 together. You're gonna let them sit and mingle for about 24 hours or so, and then when we come back, you just put in the food processor, spin that sucker around, drain it, and add the salt in there, and that's it. Really easy. Now, the best kind of, I learned how to make this recipe down in Mexico City, of all places, and they did this recipe using Jersey cow milk. They had this Jersey cow cream down in Mexico that they imported from New Jersey. We don't even have that shit in California here, so I don't know how they got it. The Jersey cow milk is super high in fat, and that's exactly what you want, because what you're doing when you're using whipped cream is we're going to be separating out the fat molecules from the milk molecules. This is why you want a heavy whipping cream, which has a lot more fat content. So if you can get your hands on Jersey cow milk or Jersey cow cream, that's gonna be your creme de la creme of cream, right? No pun intended on that one. So if you can get that cream, that's gonna be the best. If not, this is Trader Jose. Works actually surprisingly really well. I did not expect this to turn out as good as it did. So no knock against Trader Jose or Trader Joe's. I've even forgotten how to say that properly because I keep saying Trader Jose. So yeah, let's get into the recipe and let's show you how easy this is. Start by pouring the whipping cream into the container. Add 2 tablespoons of buttermilk. Cover and give it a good shake. Now just let it rest at room temperature, anywhere between 18 to 36 hours until it thickens. So we'll check on it in about 20 hours to see how it's doing. So through the magic of television, we are back here, and it's been 26 hours later, and we're gonna check on our cream to make sure that it's all good. So let's give it a stir. You can see how it's thickened up, and we could let it go further if you wanted to. Should give it a try. It should taste tangy. It does. It tastes good. So we're gonna take the full contents of the container here, and we're gonna pour it into our food processor. Put a lid on it, lock it in, and we're ready to roll. So what we're gonna do is pulse it for about 2 to 3 minutes in 20-second increments so that we don't burn out the motor on the blender here. Pulse it a few times and just to get it swirling, and then go for longer. If I open this up, you can see that this is still just cream. But what's going to start happening here is that this cream is going to begin to separate from the fat molecules in here, and those fat molecules is what we are after, which is going to be our butter. what just happened is we are starting to get this butter and it's starting to cream. So I'll bring this closer. You can see it's already starting to curdle up. This is our butter. And it is separated out from the milk, which you can see down here. So this is buttermilk. Alright, so I'm gonna continue to pulse this just a little bit longer and we're gonna take this out. And you'll know it's done because what's happened is it literally happens in a matter of a second, but it goes from what I just showed you to this, where it suddenly, you see all the milk and it separates out and it's all up on the surface and the butter is left over. So we're gonna strain out the butter from the milk here. Now we want to dump the contents out of the food processor into the strainer. Now this is our butter, and this is all the buttermilk underneath. So you can save this buttermilk and use it in any recipe that calls for buttermilk, such as making more butter. So save this buttermilk. You can save it for up to 7 days in a refrigerator. Rinse this off really quickly just to get the milk out of it. And you want to gently pat it with a spoon just to get that, get more of that milk out. So I'm going to do that off camera here. This is what I've done. I just rinsed it off under very cold water. As you can see, the butter is very soft. So we can't really work with it yet. It's too soft. What happens is anytime you process things in a food processor, the friction and the motion heats it up. So these fat molecules are way too hot right now. So we need to cool them down. Now, running it under cold water is not enough. That's not going to cool it down to the level that we need it to be. What I have here is some ice water, and this is ice cold. I've had ice in here and it's melted down. Get that butter in there, submerge it. And what you're doing with this is we are cooling this butter down. We're gonna give it a few minutes in here. As we cool it down, it's gonna harden, and this is gonna make it a lot easier to work with, right? So we don't wanna be touching with our fingers because our fingers are very warm. That's gonna give off heat and it's gonna melt the butter. So in general, you wanna use wood or plastic or metal utensils when you're working with it. And also, it really does help to have it cool down quite a bit. You could give it as much as 10-15 minutes while you clean up. So this is a good time to just clean up your kitchen, clean up your appliances that you have, and then come back to it in 10 minutes. And then I'll show you how to add some salt into it and how to further strain it to just get all the buttermilk out of it. Now I've let this rest for about 10-15 minutes while I clean up the kitchen. So the next step here, very easy. We're gonna put this onto a cheesecloth. What I got here is a double layer cheesecloth. I think double layer works a lot better because the butter is not gonna leak out. Take your butter, dump it right here in the middle. Now, we wanna strain this. So what you're gonna do is, well, I don't think it matters that much how you do this, but you wanna wrap it up tightly. So 1 layer, 2, this and that. Okay, so that's our butter. We're gonna start twisting. We wanna get all the water out. And the reason we want to do that is because that water and that milk that was in here would spoil our butter. So what we're going to do is twist it like this. And as we twist it, some butter fat will come out through here, but it's going to be mostly water, and it's going to be mostly buttermilk and water. So just keep doing that until the water stops coming out. You want to get out as much as you can. I'm starting to get butter come through, so I would say that's plenty because I don't think there's more liquid in here. Get our awesome butter onto here. Oh my god, look at this. Ah, I'm so excited. Let's try it. Oh my god. Meryl Streep, you're awesome. Final step here, what we want to do is add some salt. I got some Japanese salt here from obviously Amazon, where else, but you can use other salts. Another great salt is this Malden salt, sea salt. You want to get some salt in there. The reason the salt is important is it acts as a flavor enhancer, but also as a preservative. It's going to keep the butter fresh for longer. So what you want to do is, if you got a pastry thing, you can do that to get your, again, you don't want to touch it with your hands because that's warming up the butter, and we want to avoid that. Taste it for saltiness. It's really good. Careful with the salt. So Start with little, add more as you see fit. Each salt is different, right? They all are not equally salty. So molten salt is not particularly salty, which is a great salt to use in this example. So I would recommend, if you don't have any fancy salt, this is great, because this is gonna has the right amount of saltiness in here, and you're not gonna overdo it. Now what we want to do is just can it. That's our canning. That's all you gotta do. And this should keep like this for about a week. I couldn't believe it was this easy to make, honestly. No reason why anybody shouldn't be making their own butter. I forgot to say, in a cheesecloth here, you're gonna end up with some more butter. So what you can use is the same spatula here and scrape it up, and also pick up all these extra butter. So it's quite a lot. So make sure you don't waste that. This is not a fancy cheesecloth, by the way. This is just a Target cheesecloth, so like $2 or $3. Nothing fancy. What you can do now with this actually is reuse it. So do not throw this away. Hot water, soap, and it's all gonna come out, and it's ready for your next butter. And that's it. I think you'll agree that was really easy, very quick. I did not personally, when I first made this, I was so intimidated. I was like, how can you make your own butter at home? This is crazy. This is really good. We're gonna test it out. Clearly, like, I've been testing it. This actually has like 3 pieces, so I've been testing it out. It checks out fine, but people like to see people test food on camera, so we'll do that. Making sure this, the bread is fine and the butter is fine. It's still fine. It's really good. Oh my god. It's not overly salty. If you freaked out at the amount of salt that I've added, fat in general binds really well with salt, and it tends to hide the effects of the salt. So this is why when you're cooking, if you over salted something, you can usually balance that out by adding a little bit of acid or a little bit of fat. And that fat and the acid is gonna neutralize the effects of the salt. If you made it this far into the video, I really hope you're getting some value out of this. Give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment if you liked it or if you didn't like it. Hit that subscribe button. It really makes a big difference to me. Helps me sleep at night, honestly. Check out some of my other videos. I have more videos on canning and processing your own food, making jams, jellies, marmalades, you name it, it's there. So feel free to check those out, and I hope to see you for another episode. Thank you.